Okay, so for my first game analysis, I did JumpStart First Grade 2000 version. This is part of the JumpStart series by Knowledge Adventure. They make various educational games for different grade levels. Obviously, this is for kids at a first grade level. It takes place on School Island, where the player is a student, along with Frankie, who's kind of your host and guide throughout the game. The story is that the teachers have set up a treasure hunt, and you and Frankie have to go around and help them by playing educational mini games. And in each minigame you can earn 4 of a kind of prize, and once you get 4 prizes in one game, you'll get 1 clue, and then 3 clues will let you go on a treasure hunt. Also, each of the games has 3 difficulty levels, so it can be adjusted according to the skill of the player, which is nice. First off, there's word games, or games based on English learning. So there's book club, where you read a fairy tale or short story with the teacher and then answer a comprehension question. Lost and Found, which is a concentration-style matching game of synonyms, antonyms, and rhyming words. Alphabet Soup, where you have to rearrange letters to spell a word and then alphabetize that list of words. And Sandbox, where you dig up bones with words on them and then you have to sort them into different dog bowls according to what part of speech they are, what letter sound they have, or whether they're singular or plural. These kind of things, like reading along isn't exactly a game, but it is an entertaining activity, I guess, for first graders. Whereas in the Sandbox game, finding the bones is fun, but that isn't really a part of the learning. So in a lot of these, the learning and game part are separated, which is unfortunate. However, these are all activities appropriate for a first grade reading level, so you're learning about the parts of words and how they relate to each other. There are also math games, like Pizza Maker, where you put the correct fraction of ingredients on a pizza. And Pogo teams, where you have to fill in a missing symbol in a math equation and sort numbers from greatest to smallest or vice versa by 8s or 10s or some amount. I think the pizza game is a really good game because it has good flow. It's kind of challenging but still manageable. It's also good for like having a geometric representation of fractions, which is kind of an abstract concept for first graders. And again, these are all reasonable skills for a first grade level, comparing numbers, 2-digit sums, simple fractions. There's also a lot of practical games. So there's hall passes, where you have to set clocks and like add times to each other. Food Machine, where you follow a recipe using actual like kitchen measuring tools. And Vending Machine, where you cannot change to buy target items in a vending machine. So these are obviously really great for out-of-game transfer because students outside of the game would actually need to tell time and buy items by counting out change and follow a recipe in the kitchen. I also think that the Food Machine game is a lot of fun because there's a lot of different animations. Each different recipe you make makes a different item, and they've got kind of fun little animations at the end. It also is really cool in that it won't tell you this, but if you put like 3 teaspoons in where it asks for a tablespoon, it'll still accept that because it's an equivalent unit, which is pretty neat. It's realistic. Unfortunately, I think the Hall Pass game is kind of really difficult and boring, especially for first graders, and I never liked it when I was playing it as a kid. There's also this science game, which really isn't educational, but it's kind of fun. It's too easy for a first grade level. The hints they give are very obvious. It's just kind of basic trivia instead of science learning. Overall, the treasure hunts are really fun. You get to visit like Treehouse Island or Toy Island, and they're really cool to explore. And you also get gold coins according to how well you do on the treasure hunt, which encourages repeated play even if you've already been to the same island. There's also a gold bonus for helping different teachers instead of just playing the same minigame over and over again, which is obviously really good. Overall, all of the tasks really obviously involve schoolwork, basically what the kids would be doing in school. The main strength of the game is like the motivation it provides. So you've got like 4 little goals before you get a clue, and then you've got 3 clues before a treasure hunt, and then you can do multiple treasure hunts, and those are a really powerful motivator because they're fun. However, the weakness is that they don't really combine games and learning in any of the activities. They're kind of kept separate. And it mainly gives practice in each of these skills, so you repeat the same skill over and over, although I guess you could maybe learn the skills through trial and error just from playing the games. These are my acknowledgements.